Everybody, how we doing? Thank you for coming in here. 5,000 butterflies. I'm here, Aaron. What do you mean with that 5,000 butterflies? Tell me. I think, yeah, 5,000. Yeah. Folks, today I got an awful lot to talk to you about as usual. And, one of the subjects I'm going to be talking to you about here in a few moments is going to be organized crime throughout the world. Why is it called organized crime? And why do various groups have different names? Let's take what you all know first is the Italian, okay? In Italian, over in Italy, you have several different organized crime groups. The Camorra, which is out of Naples. Now, one of the best TV shows, better than The Godfather, better than Goodfellas and all those, was Camorra. If you didn't see that, all right, you got to watch it. I think it was on Netflix. Awesome, amazing show. Okay? There's my buddy Wyatt Earp again. Thank you, Wyatt. All right? Female Noah. Okay, thank you. Calling me handsome. God bless you. I appreciate that. You got Camorra, then in Sicily, you all know the Sicilian mob. All right, I'm Calabrese. All right, the Calabrese is the biggest and the strongest, believe it or not. It's called the Ndrangheta. But let's take all the others. You know about New York. You know something about Los Angeles. I'll talk to you more about that later and another episode that I'm going to be doing. Because a lot of you like organized crime information. But I got to tell you a few things that are on my mind that I've seen recently. Well, Wyatt Earp is Irish. Well, I knew the West Side Boys over there in New York. Tough bunch of guys, the Irish. No question. But and my son said, Dad, nobody cares about her. Don't talk about her. But I'm going to. This girl, Allie Carter. I'm going to tell you something. She's great on YouTube. All right, she gets a lot of views. A lot of people want to talk about her. She claims to be Tupac's daughter, which is a false claim. She's not. Okay? And then she claims she was a child molested by Diddy. And she talks about underground tunnels under his house here in Homey Hills. Folks, there are no tunnels under that house. One time she made a statement that they even got a Starbucks under there. Can you imagine how stupid and dumb that is? A Starbucks in a tunnel? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with some of these people. All right? She's claiming that they gave all this evidence to the prosecutor about all the children, underage kids that Diddy molested. Folks, if anything that she said was true, the U.S. attorney definitely would have used her as a primary witness. And Diddy definitely would have had more charges. But I never even heard her name mentioned. Did any of you ever hear her name? Let me know. Tell me in the comments. All right? Shout out. All right, Samuel James, shout out to your wife, Lauren James. Hi, Lauren. How are you? You got a good man there. And then, will Diddy be indicted on the Tupac murder? They're claiming, this guy KPD, there's my girl Angel, huh? Stephen, yes, Kim Porter. Okay, will he? He should be. I mean, there's too much smoke around these things. But this guy, Keefe D, just fired his lawyer. They said they had a difference of opinion. I don't know what that means. But you know, a lot of times, now that's, you gotta remember, Keefe D is in prison in Las Vegas. It's a state crime. It's not a federal crime that he's held. He's being held with a state. Now, there's a big difference with state charges and federal charges. In federal charges, you have maybe a few points chance of winning your case. But in state courts, you have a great chance of winning. It's totally different. Now, I know from in federal court, when somebody becomes an informant, that they have to fire their lawyer that they have because the government gives them another lawyer. Now, I don't know if that holds true with the state, but I've been doing a little reading on this Keefe D, and they're holding him for the murder. He's got a trial coming up next year. People keep asking me how old I am. How many times I got to tell you? I'm 80 years old. Okay? But let's go back to the Keefe D. He's claiming that he wasn't in Las Vegas. They can't find no record of any hotel, any restaurant he's been to, or nothing. But yet, here he is being held for shooting Tupac Shakur. All right? Oh, Whitney, that's so. I look 23. Oh my God. Thank you so much. So, you know, I wanted to point those things out. And then again, Mark Garagos. And you know, I've been trying to get a message to Diddy through social media here, okay? Because some people claim that they're able to email him. Well, let me tell you, unless Diddy requested you, now Diddy could only have about 20 people on his email list, okay? So it's not like he's allowed to email with everybody in the world because he can't. The same with phone calls, okay? With phone calls, he has a list that's got to be approved by his CO there at MDC of people that he can call. And then he only gets 300 minutes a month. 300 minutes. That's 5 hours a month that you get to call. And you pay for them. If you're the inmate, you pay. Federal prison is not collect calls. Somebody wants to marry me. Oh my God. Are you sure? You better come and get to know me. You might change your mind. You know why? Because I got OCD. I'm a clean freak. Everything's got to be in its place. You will never see a dirty dish in my sink. Okay? There we got it. Will from New York. Hi, New York. That's my home state. All right? What is my worst traumatic incident? How do you know there's something that I don't talk about? There is. And I'm not going to talk about it now. Okay? But folks, I'm going to be doing something, a special for PTSD, raising money for a friend of mine. All right? And that's going to be coming soon. Actually, he's got some, a hat and a t-shirt he sent me, and I'm going to be wearing it. You're going to be seeing that soon, okay? Because, I am former military guy. I was in the U.S. Army. All right. I served 3 years under General Westmoreland of the 25th Infantry Division out of Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. And I stand proud that I stood up for my country and fought for my country. Okay? See, I'm blacking out. Oh, no, that's your name, blacking out. All right? Uh, Thank you, Chillin. I appreciate that there. I got a lot of advice about insecurity. I got a lot of advice on I can motivate. I'm a great motivator of motivating salespeople how to make more money. All right, and so we keep going. Okay. Uh, why you served in the 73rd? Great unit. Thank you for your service, my friend. So, folks, I told you about the Italian Mafia. Now, who do I think is the strongest and the best run organization today? I gotta say the Russians and the Albanians. They're very tough guys, and they do things according to the way it's done in the old country. Somebody asked me if I was Jewish. My name is Orlando Spado. Okay, Orlando. I'm the author of this book, The Accidental Gangster. Folks, by the way, listen, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like, share. And a lot of you ask me that you can't find that thanks button. There's a thanks button that if you wanted to help me out in any way. Okay? Now somebody wrote me and told me that if you can't find it, you gotta double click the screen and it comes up. I don't know. Okay? But try it if you want to, and I appreciate that. And for those of you, my Cash App and my Venmo is up there in my profile. And for those of you who have sent me things through Venmo and Cash App, I want you to know I deeply appreciate that, because that money goes right into my account and I get that immediately. Over here on YouTube, I have to wait a month and then they take 30% of that there. Okay? Our angel said, if you double click it, thumbs up. Okay? So Angel, thank you for that, Angel. Okay? Now, let's talk about India. India has the world's largest population of people, and also the world's largest organized crime organizations. Now, I'm just starting to study that over there. I live in Beverly Hills, Aussie. Subscribe because I love. Thank you, Gino. Liedman, thank you, Gino. I appreciate that for subscribing. They're not good you got here. I still got a lot. Okay? Well, there's a lot of topics. All right, so you might have to watch, when this will be posted after I'm finished here. But a lot of topics I'm talking about. But right now, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to try to read this to you. You might not, I'm a lot of it's Indian names that I can't pronounce. All right? The national agency, NIA, carried out 13, this is from the Times of India, okay? The Times of India. 13 locations across 3 districts of the state. And the word is Singranganda, Duasa. Now, none of us are going to understand. As part of its ongoing crackdown on criminal networks linked to one gangster named Lawrence Bishnoy. The focus of the operation was arms trafficking and heroin smuggling, with accounting for the majority of the action. 11 locations were searched, says sources. Teams begin their raids early Friday morning. It goes on and on. This is very hard to read, I gotta be honest. All right, so I'm gonna study this more because you're gonna wanna know about what's going on in India, all right, in India. And so I'm gonna be telling you an awful lot about that there. So anyway, we got more new subscribers here, all right? Folks, help me out any way you could. I appreciate it. Now, let me ask you a question. You know, we've been referred to organized crime, the mafia, all sorts of things. But I look at it a different way. I say that we are only just a bunch of businessmen who think outside the norms of regular businessmen, and we get into different businesses than the rest of the people get into. And why do we get into those businesses? Anybody that goes to any business, all right, go into a business where there's a demand for what you have. Now, you hear all these presidents since Nixon with their war on drugs and they're going to stop it. Never going to happen. Why will it never happen? It never will happen because there's a demand. And until they stop that demand, we will always have drugs. Some other thing. You all heard of the prohibition. Liquor. As long as there's a demand, we're going to supply. Cigarettes. It goes on and on and on. Okay? So, you got to remember, that's a fundamental practice of business. So, you know, they call us bad guys. So we handle our affairs differently than other people. People want to go and blow their money on a lawyer and wait a year, 2 years, 3 years, all right, to see the lawyer. You pay all your money to the lawyer, and you never get what the hell you asked for, okay? With us, we don't wait for lawyers. We handle our problems immediately, and they're done, they're over with. Gino, I don't know. That's a good question, Gino. In how many countries are drugs legal? There are, don't hold me to this, there's a country in Europe where people can go and get their heroin shots. You got some countries like that there. But that's a really good subject. I like that question. Okay, thank you very much. Hello, Ralph, Bob Jones, Prague. Okay, Prague, is that the country? All right. Australia taxes the shit out of tobacco, so we just buy from the black market. Okay, the government taxes. Who's the real organized crime? The United States government. You can't do nothing. You got state taxes, federal taxes, sales tax, real estate taxes. Anything you touch or breathe, the government's got a tax on it. And they're the fucking heroes? Give me a break over here. Holy shit. Okay, Dan, that story of being caught away must be important. All right? I love my coffee. Oh, I love coffee. You know, this is about my fifth cup, and I have espresso in it too. So it's just not regular, it's regular coffee. I put a couple of shots of espresso in. All right? Dima, boy, your name sounds, Dimo, how do I know you? I do remember the name. Do you have a chance to look at the summer one? Okay. Um, I don't smoke. I smoke a cigar once in a while. I got one over here. My neighbor upstairs gave me. Okay. Bless you, Jack Daniels. Huh, Stephanie? That's good. Huh? Folks, you all ask me where I'm from. I was born in Rome, New York. Uh, but I lived in New York City. I lived in Little Neck, New York, right adjacent to Queens, okay, just before Long Island. And I lived in Manhattan. And I had a residence there up until I got arrested in 2008 with a Colombo crime family indictment. All right? So somebody say, you have seen some gangster shit in my time. You better believe I have. You know, my two closest friends until the day they died was Sonny Franchise in New York, Jimmy Cacci out here. Yes, Mikey, from New York is really upstate. Yeah. Nancy, you're asking me if I wrote a book. Yes, I did. There's my book right here. It's called The Accidental Gangster. Let me read you all a little something from it, okay? It's from insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer. I began my career in insurance with a Prudential Insurance Company. I was extremely successful and I made a lot of money, okay? But let me read this. How do you mark time? Some people count the gray hairs on their heads or the lines in their faces. For others, it is the number of children and grandchildren. To many others, it is the joy of growing old with a special loved one, or the accumulation of material wealth or objects they collect, such as art. My marker of time is the people I have kept alive, thanks to the grace of God and some behind the scene moving and shaking by me. They are still above the ground, walking, talking, and breathing. Who am I? My name is Orlando Ori Spado, and they call me the mob boss of Hollywood. Oh, the muscle memory. You have changed now. You change when you get older, my friend. Trust me. They call it the golden years. I had no idea why. Okay? Trust me, it's not. Okay? I love all the wonderful comments, you folks. You know, sometimes I do another live, like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? It's a total different group. Last night I had a lot of people who love Diddy, all right, talking about me, all right? And give you an idea of some of the people that I knew around the world. Let's begin with my best mate, my best friend ever, Joey Pyle, the boss of the firm in London. There was never, ever anybody like that there. No way. Joey Pyle in London. Jimmy Conchi, the underboss of Los Angeles. Joe Todaro, the boss of Buffalo, New York. People in the movie industry. Dino De Laurentiis, John Daly. All right, you heard the movie Platoon, Hoosiers. You seen the movie King Kong. Okay, these are the kind of people I know in Hollywood. I knew Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, a lot of people. But here's some people you probably do. All right, who's this guy down here? Remember the movie The Irishman? Robert De Niro played him. Russell Buffalino. That's who that is. And this is where I used to meet Carlo Marcello in New Orleans. He had that hotel, which was his office. So, folks, I've been around. I've done a lot of shit in my life. A lot of good, bad, and ugly. But one thing about me, I took full responsibility for everything that I've done. You're right, Mikey. Dino was great. And it was a crazy life I lived. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. All right? I appreciate you all. All right? And, you know, as usual, you all got all my love and respect. All right? For those of you who missed the earlier part, I'm going to repeat it again. Okay? This girl, Ellie Carter, I see her around. She says she's Tupac's daughter. She says she was molested by Diddy along with other underage kids. She said there's tunnels under the house. She's so full of shit. It's amazing. Okay? She's not Tupac's daughter. There's no tunnels under Diddy's house here in Holmby Hills. There's no Starbucks in the tunnel. Yeah, she even said there's a Starbucks in the tunnel. So, yeah, you going to believe that? Seriously, anybody here believe it? Leave that in a comment, please. All right, tell me whether you believe, all right, that Diddy built tunnels under his house and has a Starbucks there. Okay? Holy shit. But things that another person is piquing my interest is this Keefe D. He's got a trial coming up in Las Vegas for the murder of Tupac. Okay? And I'm reading about him, and it's really crazy. He's claiming he wasn't in Las Vegas at the time. They can't find any hotel record that he stayed in Las Vegas. He's from Los Angeles here. Okay? I don't know if this guy is just looking for some claim to fame. I don't know what the story is. But I have to go back and listen. I'm not sure. Did Suge Knight say he was the shooter? Because Suge Knight saw the shooter. He's got to know who it was. Suge Knight was right there because they wanted to kill Suge too. What do I think about Donald Trump? Well, folks, he's only got little less than 3.5 more years to go on this term. I think he's been doing a great job. They're blowing up this immigration. He said he would take care of the immigration, and he's done that, okay? No more crossing at the border, none of that there is going on. But he also said he would end both wars. He said he would end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. Well, he's been in office now 7 months. That war has not ended. No. He's got a meeting this Friday with Putin. Will they make a deal? I would hope so, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay? I just don't think. All right? That Putin's going along. Putin wants too much of the Ukraine. Zelensky doesn't want to give it. 274. Where are you paying 274? It's $5 a gallon gas here. Yeah, he was going to lower the price of gas. It's lowered in other states. It's not lowered here in California. Mikey, are you from California? Huh? How do you fight the system? It's a tough freaking battle. All right, let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. As I said previously, you probably heard me, I believe that when Donald Trump ran for office and he said he would show the Epstein file, I believe he was really telling the truth. Because he did not know the depth of the Epstein file. And when, let me tell you, who was the very first person to visit him at the White House? Netanyahu from Israel. Do you think it was just about the war in Israel? Why Netanyahu got there right away and had to talk to him? It was that meeting, it was after that meeting that Donald Trump changed his mind. You got to remember, Israel is only a country of 9.5 million, but they got the best secret service in the world, the Mossad, okay? And they're behind this whole thing with Epstein, with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who's one of the guys that trained and got Epstein into the Mossad. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was buried with honors by the Israelis. So what's all this tell us? This is so deep of these pedophiles. And let's talk about these pedophiles. Why are these pedophiles all the people with the big money? Big, serious money. The powerful people of the world. Our politicians, our judges. You know, after I got convicted and sentenced, I got sent to Lompoc, which is up in Northern California. It's the most westerly city in America. And before I got there, they were going to turn that into a place to try to train pedophiles. That didn't work out. But in every prison, you got a lot of pedophiles, and they stick together. Now, my experience in Lompoc is all the pedophiles have money. And you know what? The craziest thing? Their wives and girlfriends were there every visiting day. They had wives and girlfriends, but yet they were pedophiles. And they had money. So why is it that people, you see the people who have money and are notorious or big in some place, why are they pedophiles? What's going on here? I can't stand these pedophiles. I think Men who abuse women and pedophiles, I don't think they should go to prison. I think they should be just be put in front of a firing squad and get rid of them. And boom, the problem's gone. You see what I mean about the difference with organized crime and the regular system of how it works? Because that's what we would have done. You don't see guys organized crime who are pedophiles, who abuse their women. You don't see Diddy with any organized crime guys, do you? We want nothing to do with him. He's in prison. They want nothing to do with him. They don't give a shit about his music or his clothes or anything else he did. Folks, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I haven't got no thanks today. Nobody likes what I'm saying. Huh? Nah, Epstein's dead. I had to assume that he's dead. His brother saw the body. His brother buried him. Okay? Yes, I know Sammy the Bull. Yeah. Anybody that, has a podcast and asking me to be interviewed, write to me at the accidentalgangster@gmail.com. Okay? My son handles that account. All right? And my son is my manager also. All right? So remember, if you have a podcast, you want to interview me, the accidentalgangster@gmail account at Gmail is where you have to write to. Okay, it's right up there in my profile along with everything else. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you folks are on there, go and follow me over there. Okay? Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate it, buddy. All right, Mikey shared it on his channel. Okay? Thank you, my friend. James Reagan. Can I still get it up? Yes, I could. But it's got to be the right girl. It's got to be the right girl, and that's not a subject to talk about here, okay? But yes, at 80 years old, I could. I'm an active 80-year-old man, thank the Lord, okay? A lot of people say, I say prison saved my life, Greetings from Oldham in the northwest of England. How are you, my friend? England's a great country. I've been to London several times, folks, okay? And I'm going to be going back there. Anthony did 5 shows. How the fuck you do 5 shows in one day? All right? Look at folks. Times are tough. I understand the economy is bad. So, whatever anybody could do for me, I appreciate it. Okay? But I'm not going to ask you no more. You want to do it? Do it. If not, I'm not dying. So as I was saying, prison saved my life. And you know why? Because I started walking. All right, when I was MDC, I walked around the gym, I walked around the unit. And when I got to Lampo, I was walking around the track. I was walking 7 miles a day, and I haven't stopped walking. I still try to walk a couple miles every day. And today's a beautiful day, and after I'm through here, I'm going to go out and take a walk, okay? And what I ate today, because I'm a diabetic, I gotta be careful with things I eat, but today I bought an everything bagel with great cream cheese that I got at Whole Foods was really good. Okay? I understand everybody needs money, folks. I wish I had a lot. Vito, thank you. Vito Calzone. Thank you very much. All right, for that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I don't know if you know anything of it. Tony Pizza claims that he knew me. Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't recall him. Okay? A lot of people say they know me. I am 80 years old, so throughout my lifetime, especially in New York with Sonny Francie, I meet 200 people a day. Sonny and I would go from morning to night. Okay? Restaurant to restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. And Sonny ate at every fucking one of them. Sonny could eat, I could tell you that. 80, you feel old at 33, huh? Yeah. No, I never met Bumpy Johnson. No, I didn't. Okay. You know, folks, I'm getting them. I lived on Little Neck Parkway between Northern Boulevard and the LIE. It was a brick building. If you know the area, you probably know what I mean. It had a tennis court and a swimming pool. Can you imagine that? Now, Sonny lived in Roslyn, right not far away. Sonny and I would meet every morning. There was a little restaurant, coffee shop, all right, just before on Little Neck. There was a little shopping center, and we would meet there every morning and have breakfast. And I'll tell you, really funny story. Sonny would come in, it'd be wintertime. Come in, he'd take off his coat, he'd put his coat behind his chair, he'd sit down, he'd order, and then he'd go, hey buddy, I gotta go to the bathroom. Then you go to the bathroom. You don't see him for a while. Now you gotta remember, Sonny was watched every minute of his life. This poor guy, he couldn't do nothing. What Sonny would do, he'd go in the bathroom, he'd go out the window, he'd go down the other end of the shopping center, he'd have a meeting with some people, come back, go in the window, all right, come back and sit down and have his breakfast. I didn't even know he was doing it. And then it came out, I think it was the New York Post. It came out how Sonny evades the FBI by crawling out bathroom windows and having meetings. Yeah, it's true. It was there. Sonny was a funny guy. Vito, thank you for asking the people to donate. I appreciate that. Yes, I knew the Genovese. I knew people in every family. I was in prison with everybody from different families. The table I sat at in Brooklyn, I sat with two of the bosses, but two different families. Okay, so we were all together. All right? Hello, man. Greetings from India. Somebody said, you don't like me in India. Let me find that. You don't like me in India? I had no plans of going there, my friend. What do you think, I'm nuts? Think I'll get on a plane? Panjisi. Are you an organized crime there, my friend, in India? Because I'm going to be talking about organized crime in India. Yeah, right here, buddy. Okay? So come and see what I'm going to see saying about you guys. You are the only people who did not learn from the Italians. That's why they're making all these busts and you're all getting raided over there in India. The one thing about other organized crime groups, they learn from us Italians. All right? I'm a sweet guy. Yes, I am. Till somebody pisses me off. Otherwise, I'm the nicest guy in the world. Well, folks, this time is. I've been here 45 minutes. I never stay around that long. Okay? I appreciate you all. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. And you know something, folks? It's not just me. I noticed with other content creators, they get, say, 1,000 views, and they get 50 likes. Why can't people hit that like button? Now, they don't hit the dislike button. They just don't hit nothing. Are people really that lazy in today's world? Seriously. You know, you think, all this information I get, I got to study, I do a little rehearsing. I just come off the cuff with you. All right, but I got to do my research. I got to read about what I'm talking about. And I got to make sure I'm giving you truthful facts. Okay? I didn't give you no misinformation today. Okay? What I give you is the truth and the facts. That's why I don't have a lot of subscribers. All right? People got millions of subscribers because they're lying like a bastard. I notice all these things on YouTube. I study everything, folks. You know why? Folks, I'm a thinker. Huh? That's me. It's actually Rodin made it as a thinker, but I think this guy is me because I'm a strategist and I'm a thinker. All right? And you all should do the same thing. We need to know what we're going to talk about. Tell the truth. Be honest, because the truth will always prevail. And folks, like I say every day, all right, I try to make other people's lives happy with different things. And sometimes it's just a simple hello. I said this a million times. I'm going to say it again. When I go into a grocery store, which I do every day, grocery stores have become an old man's nightclub. In the old days, I was out all night long, all right? Get home at 6 a.m. in the morning, change my clothes, and go out to work. But it all changes when you get older. Now my big thing is going to the grocery store. But I know the sales girls who are behind the counter, I know their names. Or guys, I know the manager. I say, good morning. Hi, Janice, how you doing today? How's the family? You know why? Nobody ever talks to them, but I do. And that makes them happy. So make other people be important, because we're not the most important person in the world. All right, everybody is important. And based on that, folks, I want you all to know I love you all. I thank you all for your support. All right, please subscribe, like. All right, everybody have a great day. All right, if something comes up, I'll be back here later. God bless you all. All my love and respect to you all as usual. Have a great day, everybody.